Boo. Hi, Boo.
You're covered in dust. Yes. Okay, so kind of have a big announcement. Let's go for a drive. I'll tell you all about it. So welcome to probably my favourite walk in Hudson. Just take a look. It's an old railway line. I love walking down here, but there's lots of mosquitoes. The sleepers on the ground down here, they're spaced apart in such a way that it's too far to step 2 sleepers, and it's not far enough just to step 1. So you kind of have to do this penguin walk, or like a ministry of funny walks. It's one or the other, or you can just walk normally and risk twisting your ankle, which is what I tend to do. Oh wow, look at this dragonfly. Let me see if I can extend this so I don't disturb him. Check this guy out. Isn't that bizarre? So the big announcement. I've got a new camera for my business, which is mainly for doing like virtual tours and 360 photography and stuff. So I need to practice, but also my grandmother hasn't been very well. What usually happens is I call her, certainly not as often as I should. I speak to my parents once a week and I tell them how things are going. They always ask, and I tell them as much information as I can. And I guess they then go and visit my nan and she asks how I'm getting on, and then they tell her with as much details as they can remember. But there's so much stuff that gets missed. So needing to practice with this camera, I figured why not just start doing the odd video diary here or there, so that my family can check in with me and see, you know, the wonderful places like this that I get to live in, and all the cool things that I get up to here and everything else, and then they can share the video. So that's kind of the announcement. I'm going to try and do as many of them as I can. Yeah, I hope to get a video up at least once a week, maybe even more. I've already made one video. I just finished editing it. That was last weekend I shot that. And that's really just a day out in Hudson. We went to Finnegan's Marketplace together. Me and my girlfriend Cynthia went for a beer and went for a walk around Hudson. And my parents are coming out in September. So it was really just to kind of show them the place and where they're going to be coming and get them all excited about that. I'll certainly take them on this walk, because at the end of this railway line is Finnegan's Market, which is featured in that video. And what we usually do is we park the car where I park the car, and then we just walk along the railway line to Finnegan's Market, which is great, but there's so much great stuff there that if you buy lots, you then have to walk back along the railway line with lots of heavy bags, which isn't ideal. But, you know, the payoff is in the place. I'm just going to extend this and you can get a really good look at this fantastic view I have looking down the railway line right now. Check that out. And I could even do a tiny planet right now so you can really get a good view. Ta-da! I want to try and get closer to these dragonflies because they're incredible. The colours on some of these guys. I'll see if I can get really close. There's one. No, he's too far now, but there's so many. Let's see if we can find one. Aha, right in front of me, on the flower. Can you see it? Oh, he's moved now. He's there. He's on the railway line. Let's see how close we can get. Nope. Not very. They are sneaky. Because this camera that I have, which I'll show you in a minute, it's on the end of a stick. In fact, you know what, right now, let me just get a shot of it with my cell phone and I'll show you that shot. So it's a camera on the end of a stick, And it's got one lens on one side, and it's got one lens on the other. So what you can do is some really cool shots, like you can fly through the brush. So let me just do that. Let's get that shot. So let's cut back to the Insta360. Looks like I'm flying through the grass here. I have no idea what that looks like, but I can imagine it looks pretty cool. Let's get right down onto the railway line here. How does that look? Now I'm going to fly up. We can go into Tiny Planet again. So that looks fun while I'm moving. Wow. There you go. So the great thing about this camera, which is still recording right now, so camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. So this camera, it can see all the way around all the time, so it's always recording 360. So it sees everything all the time. And the amazing thing about that is that you get to be the cameraman after the fact. So you just hold the camera on the end of the stick and you just start recording and walk around. And it's really unobtrusive. You're not pointing it at anybody. It's just kind of there. And then after the fact, you go back and you load the footage into your computer or your phone. I do it on the iPad. And then you sit in a swivelly chair and you spin around with your phone. And your phone becomes the viewfinder for this. And you can then choose where the camera actually looks after the fact. So I'm holding this right now, and I'm going to, in post-production later on today, I'm going to make the camera look behind me. I'm going to make it look up at the sky. I'm going to make it look back at me. And I'm going to make it look down the railway line towards the car. Isn't that just the coolest thing? I'm completely having to relearn filmmaking techniques. Like, this just changes the game, which is so cool. And for doing like vlogs and stuff like that, it's just so easy. You turn the camera on, put it on the end of the stick, and then that's it. You don't have to think about where it's looking because it's looking everywhere, and you just do your thing. I absolutely love it. And here, wow. Okay, I'm going to stay really still, turn around, look down, and you're going to see a dragonfly on the flower there. Isn't that cool? Look at the color on that thing. I wonder if I can get close. No, he's freaking out. It'd be cool if it landed on my stick. Here he is, he's back. If I zoom in, you'll be able to get a really good look at this guy. Wow. God, I'm really close now. Look at that. There he goes. Fantastic. You can hear the flutter of their wings as well. That's a really interesting sound. Every once in a while when you're walking along the railway line, you find some really shiny rocks. They almost look like they have gold in them. All sparkly, like this one here. Let's see if I go in the sunshine. Yeah, so there you go. Spin around and take a look at this. See the sparkles? Isn't that fun? You get some crazy rocks. You look around, just everywhere. Like, look, there's one here. Same kind of thing, but it's green. Isn't that amazing? And they're just everywhere. It's just normal. It's an interesting planet we live on. Saw a really interesting documentary on Netflix. I can't remember the full title, but it's the name Bob Lazar. Lazar. Is in the title, and it's this guy that used to work at S4, which is near Area 51 in America. It's part of the complex, but it was called S4. It was miles away from Area 51, and he talked about his experience working there, to the anger of the US government. They've given him a hard time for years over it, but he came out and talked about what he saw, and what he saw was pretty interesting, to say the least. Anti-gravity technology, 9 different UFOs that they were working on. He went inside one of them and looked around and took sketches and was experimenting on the power supply for this thing, which was some kind of a fusion reactor. Really interesting documentary, highly recommend it. And we're now back at the Buick. Old reliable. 250,000 kilometers. Not sure exactly what that is in miles. A lot, I think, is the official number. And damn, does this thing just keep on ticking. Purrs like a kitten as well. It does have some problems now, but it's an old car. What do you expect? I'll keep using it until it stops working. Okay, let's head to Jack Layton Park. That way. So the first thing that you're met with at Jack Layton Park is the public toilets and the trash cans. You can see over there. It gets better, I promise. See if we can walk past these guys without rousing suspicion. Just walking with a stick in my hand. I love it. If I had a big camera in my hand right now, there's no way that those guys wouldn't have looked straight at it. But this thing is so inconspicuous. I think this is fairly new. And I think Jack Layton was a politician, quite a popular politician, but I think the story goes that he died before he ever actually took office. Like he won the race for Prime Minister or Premier of Quebec or whatever it was, but then died before he actually got to do his job, I think. We may have to fact check that one. We have these really cool sculptures over here. Over there we have the beach. It's where all the youngsters go to drink their cider and smoke their weed in the evening. Which is fine, I guess. We all did that. And the bench is nice here. Okay, I'm going to sign off now. I'll take you to the beach. You have lots of these in Hudson. This is called an all the shit you can't do here sign. No drinking, no littering, no smoking, no swimming. It's a beach. No walking your dogs, even on a leash. And no campfires. From 9 AM to 5 PM. Okay. Good to know. Be interesting to see what it looks like. It was very badly flooded up until a couple of weeks ago, apparently. But there was no beach. This is right on my doorstep. In fact, if you look here, this path, right here, the line of this path is directly in line with my road that I live on. So my house is a 2-minute walk. If you could walk straight through those woods over there, you would get to my house. That's how close I am to the beach. See over here where a woodpecker's been making a meal of this tree. Look at this. That's what they do. So that's it. that's my little update for you. And start doing this little video series for anyone who cares to watch, family, friends, whoever. Eventually this channel's gonna switch and is gonna be dedicated to my latest hobby / passion, which is paramotoring, flying, butt fans, running into the sky with a parachute above your head and a fan on your back. This channel up until then is just going to be kind of randomness like that. Jesus. You know, sometimes when you drive for a puddle and it ends up being 2 feet deep. Yeah, that was one of those. The roads in Hudson are not good, which is surprising because there's lots of wealthy people paying lots of tax here, but they don't seem to spend that money on the roads. I guess there's no point. It gets so cold here in the winter, the roads just get absolutely trashed. Anyway, that's it for me. I'll see you in the next one. Greg out.